No, I choose people who don't want to be written about, on the whole, whose lives are shrouded in mystery, and they want to hide their secrets, and I just love...
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing.
Two truths. The first truth is that the conversation, I'm told and I believe, was very early on in their relationship when Harry is bowled over.
If you came up with the picture of an annoying, insufferable white woman, it would be Meghan Markle, even though she's not white.
In recent days, a single interview teaser has reignited one of the biggest media firestorms to surround the British monarchy in years. At the center of it all is Tom Bower, a writer known for unsettling powerful institutions not with accusations, but through context, interpretation, and historical framing. What began as a few carefully chosen words quickly spiraled into global speculation, drawing together two of the most controversial figures in modern royal history, Meghan Markle and Prince Andrew. No claims were confirmed, no evidence released, and yet the reaction was explosive. This is not a story about crime or revelation. It's about narrative power, perception, and how fragile reputations become when silence meets implication. Here are the 10 key points explaining how this moment unfolded and why it matters.
Yes, it is a bad look, especially for Prince Andrew, because he has always denied having any sort of sexual contact with Epstein's girls.
Tom Bower's long-standing reputation ensured that even vague comments would land with maximum impact. He is known for focusing on people who dislike scrutiny, individuals surrounded by secrecy, image management, and protected environments. When someone with that history speaks, audiences assume intention. His presence alone created anticipation before any content was revealed. This matters because the reaction was driven less by what was said and more by who said it. Bower's past work has trained the media and public to listen for subtext, hidden meaning, and delayed revelations. As a result, a short teaser clip carried the weight of a full exposé. The audience filled in gaps before any facts appeared, proving how authority and reputation can shape public response far more than evidence alone.
That's fine, I'll go it alone. Just like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Sir, your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
The controversy began with a single, ambiguous line suggesting that events believed to be separate were actually shaped by the same hand. No names were mentioned, no timelines confirmed, and no accusations made. Yet, the vagueness became the fuel. Cryptic language invites interpretation, and interpretation thrives in an attention economy. Viewers began projecting existing beliefs and biases onto the statement, transforming mystery into certainty. Journalists, commentators, and social media creators rushed to decode meaning where none had been explicitly stated. This was not accidental. Ambiguity keeps conversation alive longer than clarity. The statement worked because it felt deliberate, restrained, and incomplete, just enough to spark obsession without offering resolution.
Has been far too lenient with him. And that it's not just now this sex case.
Within minutes, social platforms amplified the moment beyond control. Clips were reposted millions of times, hashtags trended globally, and speculation became content. TikTok creators produced long breakdowns. YouTubers released instant reaction videos. Commentators treated theories as developments. What mattered was speed, not accuracy. Algorithms rewarded emotion, outrage, and intrigue, pushing the story further into public consciousness. As a result, speculation hardened into perceived truth. This is how modern media cycles operate. Implication becomes narrative before verification can intervene. Once social media framed the moment as something big is coming, it became impossible to reverse the momentum.
It seriously is driving me crazy. I'm sick of hearing about them, but I can't get away from them. They're everywhere, in my face.
Look, Kyle, we just kind of don't care about some dumb prince and his stupid wife.
Although no names were used, public speculation quickly narrowed to Meghan Markle and Prince Andrew. They represented two different but overlapping forms of controversy: celebrity, monarchy, scandal, and media scrutiny. Their inclusion showed how narratives cluster around familiar figures. The public didn't need evidence. They needed plausibility. Once their names entered the conversation, everything from past interviews to old footage was reinterpreted through this new lens. Neither figure had to act or speak. Their reputations alone became content. They were no longer individuals, but symbols in a much larger story about power, perception, and consequence.
A stereotype. I think that would now not occur. I think there were various things about her sexual life which I dropped out on the grounds of privacy laws.
Neither the palace nor the individuals at the center of speculation responded publicly. Strategically, silence is often meant to starve a story. In this case, it did the opposite. Silence created a vacuum, and the internet filled it aggressively. Viewers interpreted quiet as fear, guilt, or confirmation, even when none existed. The lack of denial allowed theories to grow unchecked. In modern media culture, silence is rarely neutral. It becomes narrative material. Every hour without response increased engagement and intensified scrutiny, proving how traditional crisis strategies struggle in real-time digital ecosystems.
And in the Oprah Winfrey interviews and by Harry in the Apple interviews, can forgive him. I mean, he'd have to eat so much humble pie.
Bauer's follow-up sentence, referencing a chapter the palace hoped he would never write, shifted the moment from curiosity to perceived threat. This statement implied institutional discomfort rather than personal wrongdoing, yet the tone suggested significance. Media outlets treated it as confirmation that something consequential existed. Even though no new facts were introduced, the sense of escalation became the story. The message was psychological rather than factual. If the palace hoped it would stay unwritten, it must matter. This sharpened public focus and validated earlier speculation.
I understand. Well, because I sift it through. I don't put in stuff which isn't true and can't be checked. And also, I had some admiration for Meghan. She succeeded quite well in her life and her ambitions.
Behind the scenes, reports described frantic activity. Lawyers on standby, advisors scrambling, communication strategies being debated. Whether exaggerated or accurate, these reports reinforced the idea that the situation was serious. Crisis response itself became content. The public rarely distinguishes between preparation and panic. Preparing for potential fallout is normal, but when reported, it signals vulnerability. This accelerated the narrative that damage was imminent, even without confirmed revelations. As speculation grew, online communities revisited old interviews, clips, and statements. Context was altered. Statements once seen as benign were reinterpreted as revealing. This is the classic cycle. Once a narrative forms, past material is retrofitted to support it. The danger here is that interpretation replaces fact. Viewers confuse coincidence with connection. The sheer volume of reanalyzed content made the theory feel substantiated, even though nothing new was uncovered. Throughout the chaos, Bauer remained calm and consistent. He did not expand, clarify, or retract. His restraint reinforced authority. By refusing to chase the reaction, he allowed others to do the work of amplification for him. This demonstrated how power in media doesn't always come from volume, but from precision and timing. He positioned himself as an observer of reaction rather than a participant, strengthening the perception that his words carried weight. Ultimately, no criminal allegations were made, no revelations were confirmed, yet reputations were shaken. This underscores a central truth. In modern public life, perception often outweighs reality. Institutions know this. Celebrities fear it. The monarchy is built on it. The moment revealed how fragile image-based authority becomes once ambiguity enters the conversation. Once perception shifts, reversing it is almost impossible. This episode wasn't about secrets revealed. It was about how narratives are born, shaped, and weaponized in the digital age. A few carefully chosen words proved more powerful than evidence, headlines, or official statements. Whether intentional or inevitable, the reaction exposed a world where interpretation travels faster than truth and silence can be louder than denial. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. The real story was never in what was said, but in how the world responded.